we continue to talk about crime and criminal elements. Analysts say they have observed a puzzling trend in the policing in the country. They've noted that higher police visibility, though that goes in parallel with an increase in crime levels. Just yesterday, Police Minister Begicele visited Jablani and Moroka police stations in Soweto, amongst others. He was informed of missing dockets, unresolved rape and murder cases, ill treatment and corruption by officers, shielding of criminals, and in some cases, the unavailability of station commanders. Now, policing expert Christo de Kock joins us to help us understand why police officers appear overwhelmed by crime. Very good evening to you, Christo de Kock. Thank you for your time. Why is it? Why is it? Why become overwhelmed by something you're trained to do?
Well, the fact is, you have mentioned a lot of things, and the minister have mentioned a lot of things. I think missing dockets and the fact that things are not properly investigated is different from police visibility. I want to start with police visibility. You say that experts say that even if there's more visibility, the crime is increasing. I can't agree with that. The fact is we must look at the police visibility that we have at present. The police visibility that we have at present is extremely low. At many stations in South Africa, most of the stations in South Africa, you find that many of the vehicles are in the garage. They are there for very long periods of up to 6 months to be fixed for small little things that broken in the vehicle. And that immediately limit the police to a few vehicles at the police station. Secondly, you sit with a problem that they don't have enough human resources, people who can really patrol. There are many police officers at the station, but they are not really visible in the streets. And then the most important thing is, it's not about police visibility as such. It is about police visibility based on the crime pattern. You have to know the where, the when, the why, the what of crime before you can have police visibility. So police visibility is not just driving up and down certain streets or to go to buy some bread and milk at the station or to go and take somebody home. Police visibility is to be at the right place at the right time, at the hotspots at the right time when that hotspots occur. So I think there's something terribly wrong with our visibility. We have some limited visibility, but it is not where it should be. Many years ago, 2013, somewhere around there, I gave evidence to the Khayelitsha Commission of Inquiry. You will remember there was such a commission.
Yes.
And that evidence was taken up in a report of about 400 pages. And again, it was very clear. I analyzed all the station CCF meetings of Khayelitsha, and what I found was that point number one, there was some intelligence, there was some information on which they could base their patrols, but the station management decided no, they're not going to base it on that. And they based it on some common things that they believe that is happening in that station. Now, this is not only in Khayelitsha. I can assure you this happened right through South Africa. So that maybe I answered the visibility issue. And I don't agree with experts who say that even if you have higher visibility, you're going to find more crime.
Crime patterns, if you'll allow me, pardon me, Christo, crime patterns, as you speak about them and flesh them out, are quite important for police to have some sort of oversight on what's happening, because it allows them to better understand the community, but that also in itself takes a bit of work. Officers need to be on the ground and interacting with community members.
Yeah, but also very important, there is, the police stations all have a GIS, a Geographic Information System, based on top of the CAS, the Crime Administration System. But what they need is analysts at each station to analyze this crime pattern and to go and see why does certain crimes happen at a certain hotspot at a certain time. Now, about 22, 23, 24, 23, 2003, we had that was done by about 5 or 6 analysts at the station. And with huge success, the crime went down, to just mention one crime, murder, which is the most reliable crime trend. Murder went down from 25,000 murders down in 2012 to 15,000 murders, just because policing was based on the crime pattern. And there was enough people to analyze the crime pattern. Then in 2012, suddenly, I don't know what went wrong, but as in everything else in this country, something went wrong. And from 2012 to today, crime just escalated. And I must tell you that I think they don't do this proper analysis at stations anymore. I have got some indication of that. And that is why we have visibility, very low levels of visibility, but not based on intelligence.
Mr. de Kock, do you think that civilian secretariat for police, do you think that this is still a function that needs to be rolled out and perhaps, implemented so that there is some form of accountability and monitoring of police performance?
Well, the police have its own inspectorate, which also monitor the police stations to see that things are being done correctly and so on. But I don't know what is happening there. I don't know if they are really doing it anymore. The police secretariat, I think at this stage, it seems to me, if I don't actually get any information from them, and I don't see anything that they are really doing in the newspapers or in the media, but somebody should monitor this. Either the police own inspectorate or the police secretariat, that police are functioning, the police stations at least, because that's, you see, the police stations is our first line of defense against crime, that they are functioning properly.
With that said, it's quite an important point that you raise, because we know that just on Friday, Police Minister Bheki Cele had to visit the family of a gender-based violence victim who the community of Mthatha was saying that the crime was reported and they don't see much action, and that they blame the police because the police are not there to speak to them and interact with them and assist them, because they are merely not efficient. They went to the police station, read out their memorandum of demands, which wasn't received, and Police Minister Bheki Cele expressed concerns around that. I mean, that policing system, when the police fail the community by not being, helpful and chasing the criminals and being held to account, speaks to a serious concern and perhaps a major factor in reporting crimes.
No, that is true. That is true. When the community start to think that, look, the police are doing nothing, they don't investigate properly, there is no progress with investigation, the public will start to say, the community will start to say, well, why do we report crime to the police? Because nothing is happening in any case. But even worse than that, the community will eventually take law and order into their own hands. They will take, the kind of action that we see in places like Khayelitsha, for example, very, very strong in a place like Khayelitsha, where people take law into their own hands, form vigilante groups, and then just, apply their own justice.
And very lastly, before we let you go, you speak about that matter of the community taking the law into their own hands, but how else can the community, perhaps in a more positive light, come together and try and ensure that their community is safer as they come together to do it in a legal manner to protect their atmosphere?
Well, the answer there in South Africa is the Community Policing Forum. Each community have to form a community policing forum, which have, 6 functions, but all of these 6 functions boil down to 2 basic things. The first one is sit together with the police to form a partnership with the police to say, listen, we know why that crime is happening there, and we know where does the crime originate in this community. Can we do things together? And then the other very important thing is to monitor the police, to monitor the reaction times, to monitor if there's any real progress with cases, to monitor if people are received at the community police centers, in a positive way. So community policing forums is the right way to go for cooperation and partnership between the police and the community and even the security company. The problem is that in many of our communities, people have either lost so much confidence in the police that it's difficult to establish these CPFs, and on the other hand, in some richer communities, people are just not bothered. They don't want to know anything about the CPF. They just want to make their own money and have and look after their own affairs. And that is very unfortunate.
Very much so. Thank you so much for your time, Christo de Kock.